Dear Diary, today I took the first step in becoming an ADHD coach. I can't actually quite believe it. I want to learn, grow, and build something extraordinary. I think this journey will be the Indigo Diaries.
Dear Diary, welcome world to the Indigo Diaries, and welcome to our exciting new series, Series 2, The World Through a Trainee's Coach's Eyes. And that coaching training is me, Tasha Hickling. The Indigo Diaries is a podcast for those who want to learn about ADHD through others' experience. So welcome back, everyone. I said that I would do it every 2 weeks, but because I'm off school, I decided to do another one this week. And I apologise for my voice. I don't know what it is. I think I'm just, I was going to say I'm tired, but I'm off school, but I think I've just been talking too much. And now we're going to do 30 more minutes of talking. So this week I've been off work yet again, and wow, it just makes such a difference being off school, being off work. And when you're off work, you can just like do things at your own time and your own schedule, and are actually more productive when I make my own time and my own schedule. Well, most of the time, because I am on holiday as well. But it makes me very excited for the possibilities of coming to be, hopefully, fingers crossed, a full-time ADHD life coach. And finally doing what I've always wanted to do and be self-employed. Makes me very excited that it's probably very good that I'm more productive when I'm not at work, because that's hopefully what I'm going to be doing one day. So I need to be productive when I'm doing my own business. And this links a lot to my values. So let's begin today. So today, the first part is about values and the second part is about beliefs, okay? So the values is not as long as the perspective. So I'm going to try and keep this one a little bit shorter, and then we've got more time for the perspectives and beliefs. So value, what is a value? Sometimes it's something that we place at uttermost important in our lives, and it represents meaning behind it, okay? It's why we live our lives. Why do we do things? It's the why, okay? And when we live with meaning, it can have so many benefits. Like we can prioritize, we can manage time easier, understand our barriers, develop relationships, get motivation, allow us to have what we need, which we talked about last week, and live the life we want and really deserve. So there are a lot of benefits of understanding what is important to you. And especially when we have when ADHD comes into it, is even more beneficial so that we're living in integrity. And when we're doing that, all those things that we struggle with, like managing time, understand barriers, are a little bit easier to be able to maintain and manage. So, however, different values can be different for different people. So, for instance, we might have two people may have the same value as love. But for one person, love can mean love their family, love this, love this. Another person, love could be beauty and the love of life and the love of a journey. So different values mean different things for different people, okay? They influence our behavior. So when we don't live in our values, when we don't live our life to what's important to us, it can cause an imbalance in what we're doing and who we are in so many different areas of our lives. And it's almost like we're being consumed to be in this life. And that happens a lot with people with ADHD, because we're consumed to live in a life that we're told to do. We're told to do this, we're told to do this, rather than looking what's important to us and how we want to live our lives. So values really are at the core of who we are. And so here's just some important information, okay, about like a bit like facts about values, okay? They are so important to us, okay? And they are very unique to each and individual person, depending on who you are and what you've experienced and things like that. And we're not born with them. We might believe in different things. We might value different things to our parents. We may value different things to our partner, our best friends. It's basically a blueprint or a fingerprint of who you are, of who we are. There's no right or wrong answer. And there's no one or another that's more important. So let's say I've got 5 values. They're all important. No one is more valuable than the other. We usually have about 5 to 10. And you don't actually choose your values. They choose you through life experiences, what you've been exposed to, different things, your strengths, everything. That they create them. They're created by them. We just need to figure out what they are. And they are not the shoulds in our lives. You know, if I say, oh, this should be important to me. That's not a value. That's an aspirational value, something that you want, but it's not quite important to you. They're the things that we cannot give up in our lives. Things that are so core to who we are that without it, it's like being lost. Basically, they're the reason for your being here. The reason for you to be here and live your life. The reason why you are here on earth. Okay? So how do we discover them? Okay? Well, a good starting place is you can either look at a list or words, and you can look at some words of a list and then cut it down, you know, look at them, circle them, reword them. Or I've put a really good, valuable assessment. It's called a personal values assessment. Very easy. And it's really, really good. And what you do is you click on it, and it's got all these different values. You put which ones, and then they do a test where it's like this one or this one, and they compare them, and then it comes up with 5 values. It's a good starting point. You know, we don't want to base everything on an online assessment, but it's a good starting point. And then when you get them, the main thing is, how do they define or show up in your life? So like I talked about earlier, like that love, it can mean different things in different lives. So it's coming up with kind of your own kind of explanation of what that value means to you and how it shows up in your life. So they asked us, what are your core values and how do they represent in your life? So I'm actually looking at my core values right now. I have my core values on my wall. Okay, I have them in my purse, I have them in my bag, I have them in my head. They're ingrained, but they're on my wall. So I have 5 core values. I like to keep it at 5, and mine mean different things. So because there were so many words that really represented the same thing, I actually came up with titles for mine, and I came up with titles of what they are, and then words underneath to help me explain how that represents in my life. So the first one is, I call it the Tasha way, the Tasha life. And that's basically being authentic, being myself, being creative, out of the box, unique, different. That is really important to me, is being authentic to myself and in my life. And that is the core value of anything. If I don't feel authentic, we'll talk about that later, but it really resonates in my life, because I have to be myself. If not, it's so that for me, that's number 1. The second one is trier. I call it trier. And that's basically my growth, my challenge, my drive, my don't give up, my dedication, my resilience. Okay. And that represents basically my attitude towards everything I do. I try everything. I will always try. And it's really important for me, all those things. It really motivates me. My next one is probably my favorite, is my spirit. And that means my passion, my enthusiasm, my excitement, my positive attitude, my active attitude. And I give everything 100%. I'm very positive. I'm very active. I get excited very quickly. And it's really important for me to have high spirit. Number 4 is difference maker. That's called difference maker. That's my care inside. Giving everything my all, my kindness, my perspective of the world, the way I see other people. And then number 5 is the right thing. That's my fairness, my respect, my loyalty, my fight, my equal rights, my empathy. And all these 5 things, so my Tasha way, trier, spirit, difference making the right way thing, are things that they're titles that definitely not going to resonate with everybody else. But I'm not an explanation person. I'm a bullet point person, which helps give me short clips. So that's why I created like loads of different words into one and then came up with my own title. But that was my own way of doing it. And that's the whole point of this, is finding your own way. I have them because my working memory is not the best. I like visual prompts. I use visual things. So that's why I have them, so I know that they're there. And then they asked us, how do you know when you're not following your core values? And this is a real big lesson that I learn. And it's when I feel constricted, when I feel not right, on edge, anxiety, fight mode. When I go into my fight mode, I know, or my freeze, I know that my core values are being either stepped on, being crossed, I don't agree with it, or it's not important to me. And I can feel it in my body, in my mind. I can feel it. So that's how I know. I feel it in my body. And the question I used to say to myself to help me believe that that's okay was this: does this fit with your core values? So, for instance, let me tell you about a situation I had. I had a meeting at work about a child and getting the right support for that child. And this person decided to take over that meeting. I was meant to lead it, and that this other person took over that meeting. Suddenly, my stomach started to feel tight. My gut started to feel tight. I started to feel on edge. I was sweating. I started to I kept thinking to myself, how dare she? What is she doing? What is going on here? Blah, blah. And why doesn't that fit with me? Because the right thing. That's not fair. It wasn't fair. There was no respect. And it didn't fit well with me. So rather than going, I've had enough, I was going, okay, it doesn't fit with my core values. And for me, in my life, my values were explained to me a long time ago with my ADHD coach, and they have literally changed my life. They give me evidence that my opinions matter, that my views and how I see the world matters, because it's something that I value. If I don't like it, it's okay. If I don't want to do something, that's okay. If it doesn't fit with my values, I'm not living in integrity. I'm not living my life. And that number one, the Tasha way, being authentic, having my own systems. If I have to do somebody else's systems, I struggle because it doesn't fit with my core values. And it really unlocked me to start seeing things, gave me the confidence to start seeing things from my own perspectives rather than looking at everybody else's. And we're going to go into the second half. We're going to take a break now, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about perspectives and beliefs. So values is going into that. But remember, with values, the number one thing is, what are your values? What is important? What can you not live without? Try that assessment below. Why not? Join us after the break, and we're out.
If you would like any information on Indigo's support group, check out the website below for our link to our Facebook page, or email at indigo.adhd2020@gmail.com. If you would like to offer any comments or feedback, or if you are interested in the world hearing your story, then please reach out, either through the group or through our email. As said before, have a good week. Check in again later, Indigos. Shh, the Indigo Diaries.
And we're back. I just had a massive coughing fit. I'm okay now. I think I've just got a really, really dry throat. I can't have the aircon on when, or the fan when I'm doing this. So I get really hot and it makes me have like a really dry mouth, because if I have the fan on, it just picks up the sound on this microphone. So welcome back. Anyway, we're going past my drama of my fan and we're going to get back to it. So we were talking about values in the first half, and then we started to talk about perspective. We just started to see it. So perspective and beliefs, they're probably one of the hardest things to face, challenge, and then grow from. Because beliefs are engraved into us from such a small age that it's hard. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's not hard. It is hard. It's hard to challenge them, and then it's hard to change them, especially when you've believed something for 17 years. It's hard to change that. It is really hard. It goes out of your comfort zone, out of there, into this horrible fear-based way. But then when you get to that other side, it's so relieving. So let's talk about beliefs. So beliefs are basically interpretations that we make up about ourselves, others, and the world. So there's definitely three different levels to this: ourselves, others around, and what we perceive from the world, okay? They're basically our internal narrative, our internal dialogue for the external things around us and what we perceive to be true. So I'm going to look at that, perceived to be true, because they're not facts. They could be, but they're not facts. The things that we perceive to be true, they're our internal narrative, what we tell ourselves, our story, okay? Many have been internalized, like I said earlier, from our childhood experience, okay? And they've had a purpose. I don't want us to think that the beliefs are right or wrong, because there's no right or wrong answer with beliefs, okay? Whatever we've experienced is different to another person. If they believe something different to we is because we've not had the same life, the same upbringing, the same experiences, the same people in our lives, the same brain. We're just not the same. And they had a purpose. Whatever we believed or we made up or something we perceived, it had a purpose. It is our defense mechanism, basically. Something that we made up or something that we perceive to be true to protect ourselves. And they had a purpose. But the question is now, is it serving you? Is it enabling your life? Or is it disabling your life? Or is it not serving you at all? And that's the biggest question, okay? So they asked us to talk about one negative and one positive kind of beliefs that we've either believed or we still believe are true. And then they asked, is it really true? Now you think about it, and has it influenced your behavior in the past or in the present? So I'm going to start with the negative. So I always had this belief since I was a child that I was very blonde, and I don't mean just hair. I mean in my brain, I'm very dumb. Because I didn't get things, I didn't understand. It took me a long time to learn. I didn't know, obviously, that I had dyslexia and dyspraxia. I always just thought I was very dumb and that I just would never understand things, and I was quite thick. And is it really true? No, not at all. And it says, has it influenced your behavior in the past? In the past, I wouldn't go for things. I wouldn't try, which is one of my core values. I wouldn't try or challenge myself to do harder things because it limited me. This belief limited my life. Limited, I'm not going to read because I don't like reading. I find it really difficult. Or I'm just dumb. It made me have this negative belief about myself, which, you know, when it came to things like discussions, I wouldn't put my hand up. If you were in a group quiz, I wouldn't put my hand up because I thought that I was dumb. So it actually limited my life and limited my learning journey, which is really sad because learning is such a curiosity, is one of my character strengths. And so that's really quite sad that that stopped that. And it says, have they influenced your behavior now? No. Because this was one of the biggest ones that I had to challenge. This is probably one of the biggest things I've ever had to challenge. When I got my ADHD diagnosis, not my dyslexia, my dyspraxia one, my ADHD one, I started changing my life to what I needed rather than what I should be doing. That created a new belief. But in order to do that, I had to believe it. So for instance, rather than reading, I listen to my books. Audiobooks doesn't have everything. So I bought a Kindle that has a good sound and reads out any PDF, right? So it's fantastic. I can read out anything I need. But when I first started, I started it, but I still believed that I was very thick. So let's say I missed a line. I'd be like, oh, I'm so thick. And it wouldn't work. It didn't stick because I didn't believe that I was clever or that I was intelligent or that I could do it. And then when I passed my first course of my ADHD journey, I started to really realize, wow, I'm actually I know a lot of stuff. And I'm actually really quite knowledgeable about many areas that I didn't really think I did. When that then shifted, my behavior then shown. And I'm like a sponge now. I've got more learning. So that's the negative one. But that was something I had to challenge. Because if not, I wouldn't be here today doing this. Positive one belief was that I believe that I'm very highly energetic and a positive person. Okay, I really believe that in myself with others. I believe that I'm a positive person with others. Is it really true? Yes, that is very true. However, I'm not positive with everybody. Depends on who you are. Has it influenced your behavior in the past or present? Yes, because it's the center of everything I do. It's a belief system that I can be positive. I am positive. I have a high spirit. I'm high energetic. I do these things. It's really important to me to be that. My core value spirit is really important. But I believe that I am. I believe that it actually adds to people's lives. So I believe that my spirit and the way I am positive adds to people's lives. And I do believe that. And it does influence the way I am because I am myself. However, in the past, I did think that I was highly energetic and positive, but that was actually a negative because I always thought that being highly energetic was a bad thing because it's too much for people. It's too this. When you have to start to see that actually the way you are is influencing people's lives in a positive way, it really changes the way we believe things. And beliefs really, really, really change your behavior. And I've just done ones about myself, there's still beliefs about others, and then there's still beliefs about world. But I'm not going to go on to my beliefs about others and the world because that could be a bit controversial. So that's my beliefs with this. I like to look at everyone's perspectives. That's who I am. So I'm just talking about from my point of view. So then they asked us what different types of perspectives are there? There's two types, growth-based and fear-based. So growth basically encourages our growth, brings more out of our lives, and fear, it acts as a barrier. It's basically the contrasting of growth. So they asked us for any examples of ADHD, fear, or growth-based beliefs. And I was like, wow, where do you want me to start? I should do this. I should be like this. I should be normal. I am like this, but why? I'm not organized. I'm not this. I'm not this. Too much. Too little. Too lazy. Fear-based beliefs. Growth-based. I am creative. I'm positive. I have a really cool brain. And when it comes to things like this, it's really hard to make that shift from fear-based to growth-based. especially when, others and the world's belief have put this pressure on us, or put this, depending on your experience, it is really hard to make that shift. And others in the world beliefs, which can be very, very hard depending on your experience, your environment, your culture, blah, I can literally go on. And that's more of a different sort of topic. And, the way we believe things in the world, the way we believe things on others, and it's quite hard. And, like one of my fear-based beliefs, I always thought I was scared of dogs because I always thought they would bite you. And not all dogs bite you. So that's not the truth. And now I have a dog. She sat right next to me. And I challenged that belief to move forward. So talking about moving forward, how do we move forward? Well, remember, perspectives and beliefs are not truths. Okay? They're not facts. Sometimes they can be truths and facts, but it's challenging them. Are they a fact, or are they your perceived thoughts? Okay? Then my next question is, are they serving you? Are they serving you for the best thing? Is it fear or is it growth? And then experimenting with that. How do I make it growth from fear? So something I was working on last week, because I'm still today, going through these, was my fear of speaking, being authentic in crowds, big crowds, or people I don't know. And because when I was a child, I had to hide myself. I was consumed to hide myself. So I had this fear of, I can't be myself with all these people. That's why we put masks on, but that's another thing. And, that's not serving me anymore. I can't be myself with loads of other people. I don't have the right to speak, so on and so on. It's a fear-based belief. And how did I change that? Well, it's just about experimenting, but understanding the why we do these things. Beliefs and values, you're going down to the core of who we are and what we believe. And beliefs can be a huge barrier in our lives. And in order to really make a step forward is by that question, are they serving you? Without the believing we can, or the perspective of growth, can we move forward? A lot of coaching is not just tips and tricks. I mean, tips and tricks are important, but it's beliefs and perspective work that's really at the core of coaching. And that can be really scary, having to try because it's going where you have to be vulnerable. To go into these belief systems, we have to be vulnerable. We have to show what we've taught ourselves, who we are. And it is scary. And I really love that a lot of coaching is not just tips and tricks, because nothing sticks. Can we move forward without believing or having the perspective that we can? And I'm going to leave you there with that thought, because I know what I think, but it's what you think. Can we move forward? And yeah, so it was quite a very deep one today. Next week is about learning styles and boundaries. Oh, they're two huge topics. This one's been a bit shorter, but I think them two will be very, very long. So to end today's session, I have two quotes. One I just love, and one is a bit more encouraging. The first one is kind of a bit like, wow. The second one is more encouraging. So this is from Gandhi. Your beliefs become your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your habits. Your habits become your values. Your values become your destiny. I just think that is beautiful. It is so true. So why not start with challenging your beliefs and let them become your new thoughts? Your new thoughts become your new words. Your new words become your new actions. Your new actions become your new habits. Your new habits become your new values. Your new values become your, not new destiny, your own true potential with your destiny. Here's my second encouragement. Change your beliefs and you'll change your thoughts. Change your thoughts and you'll change your habits. Change your habits and your life opens to unlimited possibilities. It's like a domino effect. Drop the one belief, then your thought, then your actions, then your habits, then your lifestyle. Why don't we take that first step? Just one belief. One belief. Think about it. Is it true? Is it serving you? Is it true? And then, is it fear or growth? If it's growth, keep. If it's fear, how can we make that growth? Take that first step. Knock that first domino off. But like I said before, this is hard work. It's not always going to work. But taking that first step is probably the most courageous thing that you can do. So we hope you come back next week, come learn, listen and experience the world through the eyes of a coach and training. Why not, hey? Have a great week and keep pushing. And we're out.
Dear Diary, as the training process goes on, it makes me stop and wonder, could there be more for us? More light, more possibilities, and a place where we can truly be ourselves. I think this journey will be